This is a very, very career focused month for many of you. I feel like what I'm getting is that, when you were a child, for example, and a lot of you have very, very vivid memories of, childhood. Okay, you retain information and you have a very, it's like you're like an elephant, you don't forget. I feel like especially early in childhood and throughout your life, you have a very certain, like a clear sense of direction when it comes to life trajectory, when it comes to specifically your career track. You have certain things that you immediately want to do, as a career to pursue. You always have an idea of what, like, of the types of job that can bring you a lot of financial stability, a lot of security, and things like that, okay? So I feel like the career thing was never a major problem for a lot of you. And I feel like at this point, and sometime for this month, I feel like many of you are rethinking your career path, are rethinking your purpose, on the professional front. What was really making you quite happy in the past, you're thinking about wanting more. You're thinking about changing a career path. You're thinking about forging a new path for yourself. I do feel a lot of people are contemplating, going out looking for work and not being able with the options that are made available because, they fit you like 70, 80%, and a deep part of you knows that there has to be something out there that fits me 100%. So I feel like as a result, you might be reverting to self-employment, for example. You might be thinking about like, forging a new path for yourself, trailblazing, starting your own self-employment type of gig, or working on a contract basis, where you have a little bit more flexibility, or working in an environment where you have are more like dealing with more clients, for example. I feel like a lot of you might be lacking in confidence, okay? You're an earth sign, and earth signs tend to be a little bit more like, I would say like a little bit more humble and a little bit more reserved when it comes to bragging about your skills and bragging about, what you're bringing to the table. I feel a lot of you are very, very competent. And as a result, whatever you do, you take your sweet time doing it, and because of it, you've thought about every angle, and it's going to pan out well. But you might be lacking in the confidence to start it, or the initiative, the first of all, the boldness. You have the ambition and you have the technical skills, but you're lacking in the confidence to do something new. So I feel like it boils down to a confidence issue, okay? And I feel that if you're dealing with this, I definitely feel that it's gonna pan out well for you if you shift from paid employment to like doing something possibly self-employed. What I'm also feeling is that because of it, a lot of you might be reassessing a contract, like a signed document. This can pertain to like a document regarding, like a relationship, like a marriage contract, a housing contract where you're living together, or some type of contract. But I feel like more so it pertains to either a work contract that you're in right now. You're trying to find a way to either break it up so that you can move to another place to work, or you're trying to figure out like logistically where do you want to be so that you can be happier and you see yourself, there long term, like 20, 30 years down the line. So you're not just looking for, an okay job. You're looking for the perfect fit. And, of course, everybody wants that perfect fit. But I feel like you have settled in the past for mediocre jobs because you felt like maybe that's all I'm allowed. Maybe, no one has like 100% job satisfaction. But I feel like that perfect opportunity is out there. Maybe it doesn't exist yet. Maybe you need to conjure it up and, you know, create it for yourself. So, maybe you need to manifest it, create something out of nothing. So I feel like, that's a lot of pressure. And I feel because of that, you might be hesitant, okay? For others of you, I definitely feel like crossroads. I feel when it comes to career and when it comes to like a major relationship in your life, significant relationship in your life, okay? So let me see here. We've got one last advice card. Okay, so let's go into your reading. See if there's anything else that I'm picking up before we go into this spread here. I feel that, financially you're in a good position right now, so that's why you have a little bit more leeway when it comes to, I'm financially secure. I'm just not happy with the job, so I want like the job that not only pays the bill, but that is like a really good fit for me, where I can stay there and retire. So I feel like a lot of you are in the mid-career, senior position where you're looking for more emotional fulfillment from your job rather than just, financial security. So let's go into this reading here. You've got some very, very good cards. So first of all, we have the Four of Cups as well as the Wheel of Fortune. Now, let's talk about the Four of Cups first as it pertains to relationships and love and interpersonal relationships, because I'm gearing towards that energy, okay? So the Four of Cups is a situation where we are given a lot of options. Like I said, these options are not like the top cream of the crop choices that you're choosing amongst. Otherwise, you would already be jumping on it, right? So it also denotes to me that this is kind of like dreaming for the undefinable, longing for the undefinable, wanting this one thing. And you've got like you were given these things and you're trying to figure out, how do I make this into this? Okay, so one of the dangers associated with this card is you're sitting there and you're thinking about it, but there's no action. You're ruminating, and you want this ideal thing, but you're not taking the actions in order to get it. And it's so undefinable, and it's so like high up there in the ethers that it might not be realistic, okay? But either way, like I said, I feel like you're longing for a specific situation to come through, but you're not really doing anything or going out there to get it, okay? For those of you who are thinking about this in a work environment, I feel like there is a sense of boredom with your job. A lot of you are kind of like bored out of your mind with your job and you want something else. Like I said, I feel like, financially you're in a good space, so you're not complaining, but you feel like, is this it? Is that this like all there is to this work environment? I've learned everything. I'm already, maxed out on the knowledge here. I'm not growing anymore as an individual, as a worker, as an employee in this company. I need something more. I want to expand my mind. I want to expand my imagination. So I feel like you're kind of bored with the job environment and you want to figure out, what else is there to do, okay? It's linked up with the Wheel of Fortune, which basically means whatever you ask for, you're going to get. So, one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of earth signs, specifically like Virgos, you give it your all. You are very perfectionistic at everything that you do. Whatever you do, you make sure it's to the best of your capabilities before you hand it in. And that type of mentality means, giving it your all, even though you might not feel it, even though you might not be completely happy and you might be bored to death. But whatever you do your job really well. And, the universe will reward you accordingly, because I feel like whatever this idea is that you are really trying to pin down, you're going to have an opportunity this month to finalize some plans. You might even be coming across people who might serve as mentors to you in order to like realize this dream, realize this idyllic situation, so that you can at least, capture it and bring it down to earth and start to create it and start to build it. I hope that makes sense. So there is some serendipity at work here with the Wheel of Fortune when it shows up, okay? This is basically things spinning in your favor. Whatever you have been trying to manifest, I do feel this is the month in which you're getting some type of special insights or some type of technical knowledge, some type of, I feel like favorable circumstances are coming through that will allow you or allow this situation to come together. Okay, and I'm going to talk about love in your love spread in a little bit. I feel like this is more career focused, so let's just keep track on this. And I do feel they're saying to you a lot of inspiration coming from foreign people, okay? And I usually when they say foreign, they mean, foreigners, people from a different cultural background. I do do see that's the case, but for others of you, I feel like people from a very, very different background from what you're used to. So, for example, different socioeconomic class, different station in life. They had like, um, I'm sensing a lot of them might come. So let's just say if you have come from an impoverished background, you might deal with people who are, very, very wealthy, and they're bringing in a different worldview, a different point of view, a different perspective for you to reconsider. And as a result, you're going to get some very special insight, some private information that will really help you realize this dream, or at least, be able to pinpoint it down, pinpoint it. And for others of you who are in a very, very wealthy environment where you grew up in a very wealthy household, I feel like you might be dealing with people who are might come from an impoverished background, so they have a different perspective. So those are the messages specifically that I'm hearing, okay? So there's something here about getting a different perspective, getting ideas, great inspiration from people who are from a different station in life than you. The next set of cards deals with your finances. And first of all, we have the Ten of Pentacles as well as the Three of Cups. So let's talk about this situation as a financial situation first. The Ten of Pentacles is a situation that deals with like a very, very happy, solid, stable home environment. There's a lot of like, for some of you, you might be in a home environment where you might have a mortgage, and you might be buying a home. You might be celebrating, like getting a home. You might be in a position right now where money is coming through very, very nicely. You're stably employed and you're thinking about getting a home, purchasing a home, or even doing some type of renovation in your home environment. I do see housing situations and especially like housewarming coming through very, very strongly, okay? For others of you, this is a very, very good card that indicates some type of investment opportunities, putting money in your IRA and putting, like investing in stock, investing in bonds, investing your money somewhere or having somebody manage it for you so that it can grow. What I'm also getting is family dynamics, the household that you live in, the people that you live with. There's going to be some changes, some shifts, some celebrations associated with those around you. So this is a very, very good card that indicates, the apex of the financial security. Okay, so this is the top of the pentacle suit. So it indicates stability all around. And on top of that, you're an earth sign. So I definitely feel a lot of abundance, a lot of joy, a lot of security is happening for you in your home environment and in your work environment, in your financial life as well. So overall, very, very good card. We also have the Three of Cups, people, okay? There are three women in this card, in this deck, as opposed to like, the two women, one man in the Rider-Waite deck. So I definitely feel a lot of celebrations, gatherings, and celebrating somebody's major milestone, possibly housewarming, like I said. There's going to be opportunities to have very, very deep emotional conversations, and I sense like coming together with another person that you have, that makes you feel good, that understands you on a very, very innate level. And I do feel it might be like same sex. So if you're a female, it might be another female that you are have a really good relationship with. If you're a man, it might be another man like that you have a very good relationship with. This is a card about friendship, socializing, social dating, and all of these things, okay? What's coming through next here is the Princess of Pentacles. So the Princess of Pentacles usually denotes some type of financial news coming through as it pertains to an air sign. So let's look at this situation. So the air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. There's somebody coming in, that might be an air sign, very, very, very fast and swift. This is somebody that travels from far away. They are a little bit aggressive. They're a little bit kind of rough around the edges, diamond in the rough. Very, very intelligent, tends to jump to conclusion, but, not a bad energy. I do feel there's money coming through with this person. There's some financial news. There might be some ideas for income generating projects that you both can do together as a unit. So I definitely feel an air sign that's going to be figuring prominently in your life, okay? For others of you who are dealing with this person as a family, a person in your family, like especially if they're younger than you, I do sense that there's going to be some money dished out for children, okay? If they are going to school, you are going to have to somehow amp up your spending in order to cater to them and in order to accommodate them. So I feel a very, very heavy air sign energy that is surrounding your home environment and also surrounding your work environment. That's going to bring a lot of inspiration for you. They're presenting a point of view that you might not have considered before. So there's going to be a lot of communication back and forth between you and this person. For others of you overall, there might be another earth sign in your environment, someone who is they like to tinker with things, they like to take things apart, they like to learn, they're very, very curious. Could be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, another person that you're dealing with, and there is a rapid communication between you and them. I do see a little bit of distance, a little bit of like a physical estrangement or physical distance between you and them. So if you're dealing with that earth sign, there might be some type of communication, some type of travel that they're going to have to do. And I feel that, once again, you both are kind of like doing your own thing and then coming back together. So I feel like there's distance associated with it, but there's always constant communication back and forth. So you're not worried. You're off doing your own thing. They're off doing their own thing. If this is an earth sign, like I said, they like to tinker with things. They're very innovative. They're very, they're always busy. They have like many, many talents. They like to learn new things. And they're just a very, very curious person. They have a very strong systematic mind, but also highly creative. Okay. So both of these energies look very, very good. And I do sense like a lot of, I feel like for a lot of you, if it's an air sign or even an earth sign, there's this sense of like having a very long history together, meaning that, you both have traveled through life and your cross have path, I'm sorry, your paths have crossed many, many times. So you weave in and out of each other's lives, but you always come back together. So this is a really beautiful energy. I feel like someone is coming through, giving you a lot of inspiration. But they're like here today, gone tomorrow. But then your paths will always cross in the future, or it has done that in the past, in the present, and also it will again in the future. So it's somebody quite significant for you. I'm seeing somebody who's very, very like courageous, daring, unorthodox, and possibly, speaks many languages, well-traveled as well. What's coming through as well? We do have the Five of Wands as well as the Two of Cups. Now, the Two of Cups is, this is a very strong soulmate connection. This is the card that indicates to me having affinity with another person, okay? So affinity basically means that you both have the same goals, you both have the same ideals. And when you talk, the other person understands automatically what you mean. So then you don't have to over explain yourself. So that's what affinity means. And this can also indicate like some type of a soul connection as well, where, when the other person talks, you automatically can feel what they're going through. So some people call that sympathy, empathy, but I feel like it's on a soul level. The Two of Cups usually shows up astrologically as like, let's just say, if you're a Virgo sun, the other person might have a Virgo moon. So automatically you understand one another and you spark off one another in a way where you support the other person emotionally, they vice versa will support you emotionally, and you feel really, really good with the other person, okay? With this combination, so the Two of Cups, you have somebody like this in your midst that gives you a lot of emotional support, that gives you a lot of love, a lot of affection, and I feel like it's somebody that you feel a very strong pull towards, okay? As it relates to the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands indicates conflict. It indicates working at cross purposes with one another. So I feel like you are trying your best to make this situation work out, and you might be different on different paths. So even though you have that affinity where you understand one another in a very strong level, I do feel that, the way that you do things on a mundane level, on a routine level, or, long-term goals, long-term planning, you might be very, very different. So I feel like you're dealing with someone who has a very creative streak. So especially for those very orthodox Virgos that are watching this, you're dealing with someone who might be an earth sign, but they're very non-conventional. Or you're dealing with an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, who is very unorthodox. They like come in like the wind. They rush through your life, and you have a lot in common. There's that, sense of intellectual connection, very, very strong sense of history that you have with one another, but you don't see eye to eyes. You don't do things the same way, and you might be working at cross purposes with one another. And overall, I feel like there might be some events that are triggered within this relationship here with this Wheel of Fortune and then the Two of Cups that will allow you to have to like be courageous, be brave, and really assert yourself in a manner where, if something is valuable, if something is dear to you, you're going to have to defend your beliefs. You're going to have to battle it out, and you're going to have to defend your case, okay? Which is not something that's hard for you to do because you're very articulate, but I feel like you might shy away from conflict, and this is the month in which, you know what, you're going to have to explain yourself, and you're going to have to defend your stance and explain to other people why you feel the way that you feel, okay? What's coming through in terms of your advice here? We have the Nine of Wands, which is a card about, that last leg of the struggle. The nine is, almost like at the end, okay? This is kind of like taking a break from a tenuous situation in order to fight another day. So it's basically saying the struggle is not over. You've got one last push. So push yourself just a little bit harder. And I don't like saying that for Virgos because you constantly push yourself. But I feel like don't rest on your laurels. The rest of it's not over just yet. You still have one last leg of the journey left to go, and you need to push through, okay? So I feel for some of you, there might be some situations where you might have a conflict with another person. There's some type of a ruling, some type of deliberation, and you feel like, oh, I've got this in the bag. But I feel like something is going to be backtracked. You have to revisit that situation again, and then you're going to have, to make your case once more, okay? So don't rest on your laurels. You're going to be called at the last minute in order to do something. Present your case, and things will work out really, really, really well for you. What I'm also feeling with this card here is this usually shows up when I feel that somebody is thinking about somebody from the past that has been very problematic, usually an ex. So let's just say that, you're trying to make your new relationship work. For example, you're trying to make your new relationship work, and there's like a jealous ex or like a meddlesome ex that likes to stir up trouble. I feel that. And I feel that you're kind of like on the lookout, You're trying to defend your domain, defend the person that you're with. And there's like a person from the past that has a habit of like coming in at inopportune times to mess up your new relationship. So I do sense for a few of you that might be the energy where you're kind of weary about somebody from the past and you're keeping guard so that they're not coming through, okay? So you're kind of taking a little bit of a defensive stance when it comes to that past energy. A lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign, a Leo, Sagittarius, or an Aries. I'm going to go into your love reading in a little bit, but that's the energy that I get usually when I see this card. What's also linked up here is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords indicates a situation in which you're doing something a little bit sneaky, and I do feel this is your energy. You're doing something that is not outright illegal, because I don't feel you would do that. And what I'm seeing here is the Seven of Swords is a sneaky card. It's you're kind of like on the lookout for against somebody. So you're doing something in your own interest, but I don't feel it's sneaky in a way where, you're hurting anybody. You're doing something that might be considered, non-traditional. This can be, trying to get away with something, and whatever it is. I feel like it is very minor, because what's coming through, as I was saying, sorry, it's surrounded by the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Cups. And the nine's energy indicates to me some type of, I do sense protection. You have two people that are kind of like on the lookout for you so that you can do this. So it seems to me like this is not anything shady, anything that's illegal, that there might have been some type of a consensus established here that, yes, procedurally, this might not be the way to go, but they've got your back. It seems like that to me. So I feel like two other people in your life are facilitating a process or something in order to allow you to do something that you feel might not be completely kosher. Okay, so that's what I'm sensing here. It's a actually very interesting layout here. So the Seven of Swords, let's just talk about this. The Seven of Swords indicates, once again, lying, cheating, deception. In this situation, it's kind of like sneaky behavior. Okay, so as I've already explained it, you're doing something a little bit sneaky, a little bit unorthodox, but I do sense that you have people protecting you, watching your back, and making sure you're not caught. Okay, so whatever that means, however that plays out, it could just be doing something and having lookout, having people like covering your tracks. All right, so I do sense you have protection here. As it pertains to like communication and other people overall, be very, very careful about everything that you hear, because I feel like you're naturally very skeptical, so I'm not worried about that. But I do sense that like you might be giving somebody too much of the benefit of the doubt, or you might like not call them out when they are doing something they're not supposed to. So I feel like, don't try to smooth things over. Have that conversation. Really try to defend yourself. Don't shy away from conflict. If someone's doing something to you and they feel like they've gotten away with it, that's what I'm sensing. They've gotten away with it. And you're just like, no, I know exactly what you're doing, but I'm trying to maintain the peace, so I'm not trying to cause a storm. I feel that it is really important to call them out on it, okay, so that they feel like they've gotten away with it. So just be careful about that. We also have here the Nine of Cups as well. The Nine of Cups is a wish card. This is a really, really good card that indicates emotional satisfaction and emotional stability as well, okay? So I feel like for some of you, there is a situation that you're going to be very triumphant over. You're going to achieve something of your heart's desire. So if we started out here with the Four of Cups, which basically means like longing for a situation to come to fruition. And I feel by the end of the month, it is going to come to fruition, because you've spent the whole month working very hard at it and strategizing, planning, and figuring out what's the most efficient way for me to get from point A to point B in the shortest amount of time, and in the most fruitful manner. So I definitely see some long cherished wish for this month coming through. That's going to provide a lot of satisfaction for you, okay? I do feel big parties, like a big congratulation, a big monumental, like a party for your sake, okay? So people might be toasting you, for example. That's coming through as well. I see a lot of outdoor events that are set up, so possibly even an engagement, marriages for some of you. I do feel that as well, okay? I do see a lot of dress fitting as well, like bridesmaid dresses for those of you who are getting married, or at least, rehearsals, recitals, and things like that. Let's go into your love reading, Virgos. So let's see what's in store for you guys. So can you show me what is in store for Virgos for love, romance, and relationship? of romance relationships, Virgo. I'm going to need a lot of clarifiers here with this spread. It's the energy is all over the place, and I feel like it might be like two completely different groups that I'm reading this for. So there is the Tower here. So I'm going to look at this situation in a little bit. I'm going to pull out another card, sorry. And we have two characters here. I'm going to pull out another card as well. So the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Coins. Okay, so if I need further clarifications, I'm going to pull out more, okay? Just so you know that I'm actually I'm struggling with this, mainly because the energies are very, very contrasting, and they're very positive, but very much in contrast with one another. So give me a second. I'm going to light a candle here. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the past, because that's going to provide a little bit of context for you so that you know where you stand, okay? And if this applies to you, it's going to pertain to something from your past. We have the Page of Wands as well as the Ten of Coins. And the Page of Wands usually indicates some very, very good news that is coming through as it pertains to like projects, work, and I feel that it's providing a lot of financial stability for you, okay? Based on this information, and I'm trying to keep this as, you know, a purely romantic love reading, the Page of Wands indicates that you're getting constant communication, constant effort from another person that wants to build a future with you. So I feel for a lot of you, you are in stable relationship as we head into this month. And you know, I know that with a lot of Virgos, you stay in a relationship for a very long period of time. So I feel like most of the time you're going to be in a relationship. So that's just, you know, the way, the odds. So I feel a lot of you might be in a situation from the past where you had a family together, you built up a lot of wealth together. You had, you know, you were married, you had property, you had assets, and you were working together as a unit in order to make things work. A lot of you might have been involved in this situation from the past with a fire sign, a Leo, a Sagittarius, or an Aries. And for this month, because of this situation, you might be hearing, getting communication as it pertains to finances, okay? So there might be some financial reshuffling coming through as a request of this fire sign that's like reaching out to you. A lot of you might have moved on with another person. There's a fire sign coming back in with news, communication, and that's really going to change the direction of things to come, okay? Which brings us to the present situation. So if you have an ex that's a fire sign, and then you have already moved on with another person that's a little bit more compatible with you, I feel you're getting communication from the fire sign, and I feel like you're waving them goodbye. You're just like, no, 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 I'm done with that chapter of my life. I've got somebody else. But I feel like they might be soliciting you. They might be trying to wedge themselves in between your relationship. So be careful about that. Which brings us to the present situation here. The present situation is the Three of Wands as well as the Ace of Coins. Now, the Ace of Coins, as it pertains to a relationship, is basically you are given a relationship that has a lot of potential. The Ace of Coin is, if you think of it, it's like a seed, like a flower. You nurture it and it's going to grow and it's going to be really, really beautiful. It's something new, right? It has a lot of potential. And if you don't nurture it, it's just going to grow, wilt, and then die. So what you decide to do with it is really up to you. But you're given this opportunity because the universe is telling you, here's what you really need. And, give this a try. So I feel like you have a new relationship. A lot of you are starting a new relationship and you're in a very good position now. You need to nurture it, okay? Whatever relationship that you find yourself in, give it a try, nurture it. And a lot of the times, we have a tendency like this. We have a new person coming through and we're just already like we're trying to like figure out like what is this going to look like 5-10 years down the line. Well, it's a new relationship, so you need to give it the benefit of the doubt, give it your all, and don't be too skeptical. Don't jump the gun, don't overanalyze, and don't project so far in advance, right? You need to just, if you like the person, if you feel like you're both compatible, if you feel like they're a really, really sweet person, just give them a chance. I feel like that's what's happening here. And I feel honestly for a lot of you as well, you might have a karmic relationship from the past where you spent a lot of years with that person, and I feel like they have been trying to meddle in your relationships. And every time you move on, you have another person before that relationship even has the potential to grow. The other person, the person from the past, reaches out, and I feel like you come running back. But this is the time where I feel like you have something that is going to work out, and you're waving goodbye to that past relationship and you're moving on, okay? So the Ace of Pentacles, the seed that you need to nurture, that you need to allow to flourish, okay, is linked up here with the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands is basically waiting for a situation to flourish, waiting for a situation to really come together. The Page of Wands is basically doing all the preliminary work necessary in order to start on a brand new venture, on a brand new journey. The only thing that I feel is you're putting in a lot of work, and you are very, very diligent workers when it comes to relationships as well, and you're waiting for the other person to reciprocate, basically. So you have already made your feelings known to a specific person and you're waiting for them to reciprocate. You're waiting to to get the green light from them and to figure some things out, like what's the next step, and you're waiting on their decision. That's what I'm sensing. The foundation here indicates what you know to be true. It's like the condition on which this whole situation is built, okay? We have some very, very strong cards here. You have, first of all, let's talk about the Ten of Cups. This is a emotional bliss card. You're in a situation where you are very, very, very happy. You're feeling like on top of the world. You have great like emotional rapport with another person, and a lot of you, I feel like you've met somebody that makes you really, really excited and very, very happy. For a lot of you, this person might be very different from your usual type. Okay, they're like nothing. Like no one that you've ever dated from the past, okay? For a lot of you, you might be dealing with an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. This is somebody who's very unconventional, a little bit quirky. But I do sense that, there's great compatibility between the two of you. So going back to what I mentioned earlier with the Two of Cups, it indicates, like that sense of like empathy, sympathy. You have the same ideals, you have the same vision, but I feel like you might want different things in life. But this person makes you really happy. There might be the potential for the relationship to really take off here with an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. What's linked up here is the Tower, and I pulled out the Tower I pulled out another card to clarify the Tower. The Tower basically indicates some type of, so another group of you might be dealing with a situation where you are possibly thinking about changing homes. switching location and things like that. And for others of you, you might have left a relationship where you were married, where you had joint assets, you had a lot of things built up over time, and now you're just like, you know what, we're going to have to sign those divorce papers, we're going to have to consult a lawyer. A lot of you might also be leaving a long-standing rooted relationship with an air sign, an Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, and you're dividing up your assets. And I do feel that there's that energy coming through where I see something physically within your home structure, either the family structure, the family unit, or the housing structure being broken down because you're no longer living together, or you no longer want to live together, okay? So there's a lot of energies happening for different Virgos here. The crowning energy is something that you're thinking about, the person that you're thinking about, for example. First of all, we have two characters that are heavily in the cards, okay? So we have the Knight of Coins. So if you're thinking about somebody, it can't really be you, right? So I'm reading this as two other people. We have the Knight of Coins, which is an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And we have the Knight of Swords, which is an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. I do feel a lot of you might be in a relationship with with one of these two people. Okay, and the earth sign looks like there's a lot of compatibility overall. This person is very slow to act. They're on a major new junction in their life. They're trying to decide. So they're very slow to act. They might be a little bit frustrating to deal with. And I feel like you might be the one to have to nudge them in the right direction. You might have to provide a lot of support emotionally, or lay down some type of blueprint, guidelines, or some type of guide map, like a guide map for them to follow. That's what I'm sensing. I feel like I feel like you're more the mentor and the person that gives them inspiration in this relationship. So I feel like you have a lot to offer them. And if you think about it, they might not have enough to offer you. Okay, so they're kind of like, there's a lot of hand holding. I don't feel it's a codependent relationship, but I feel like there's a lot of nudging that you're doing to get them to move in the right direction. I hope that makes sense. So that's if you're dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If you're dealing with an air sign, this person is a little bit flaky, okay? So I feel like they tend to jump to conclusions. They might feel as if they know everything, lies here and there that comes through with them. And they might not have all the information before they jump to conclusions. So I feel like that's not something that you're comfortable with. So you're thinking about this person, and I feel like they keep contacting you. I feel like they keep contacting you. Okay, so Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, and every time there's like a calm, stable period in your life, I feel like out of the blue they come charging in, and they kind of destabilize you. So that's what I feel coming through with this energy, okay? And I pulled out a card just to see like what's going on. Why are they both showing up, okay? And just to see what's the clarifier card. We have the Empress. The Empress is, so this is still what you're thinking about. The Empress is somebody who rules her house, who rules her or his domain, who is basically in charge of everything, okay? So I feel like a lot of you might already be in a situation where you're playing the role of the mother, the nurturer, the caretaker, and a lot of people, the lovers that you're dealing with, I feel like you're the one that is providing the voice of reason for them. So that basically means to me like you take on the role of the caretaker in your current relationship. Okay, so even if you're a guy and you're dealing with a girl, they might not, if you're dating women, if you're a man and you're dating women, you're you're doing the role of the caretaker, the provider, the person that provides like a lot of stability in the relationship. You put a lot of yourself in. Make sure the other person reciprocates. And likewise, if you're a woman, I feel like it's really important not to patronize or take care of your relationship partner in that way, you want to detach a little bit, okay? Because I feel like they're highly independent, and they need to figure things out for themselves, okay? So it's not good to dump so much in. Just make sure your efforts are being reciprocated, okay? A lot of you are thinking, you have like a family. You might want to take a relationship to the next level. You might have somebody in your life already that you're very, very comfortable with. And there might be a lot of changes happening around your environment. So you're just like, maybe I should tie the knot, just to stabilize things, just so that there's a little bit more certainty coming into our lives. So I definitely feel a lot of discussions with another person that you're in a very serious relationship with. And I do feel like issues when it comes to parenting as well. If you're in a committed relationship, I do see issues of parenting. Otherwise, if you're single, you have somebody new in your midst that has a lot of potential. I do feel air signs and earth signs, okay, that has a lot of potential. And based on this, I feel like if you're grappling between an air sign or an earth sign, you might want to go with that earth sign with this ace of coins here. It indicates like a new seed that has the potential to grow. It might take some time, like flowers don't bloom or don't sprout overnight, so you're going to have to nurture it, and it can be the relationship that is very, very good for you, okay? So having said that, what's coming through in your future position here? We have the Hermit. And the Hermit, this is your card, and this is a card about examining a situation. A lot of the times it indicates research. It indicates like looking through information on social media. I don't feel that it's a stalking energy. I don't sense that, but it's more like finding out information, digging a little bit deeper, looking at who you're dealing with, and also, trusting that what you see is not what you get, so don't jump to conclusion, okay? So I feel if you're dealing with an air sign, I'm feeling very, very strongly if you're dealing with an air sign, or an earth sign, I do sense there's an element here about somebody juggling two people. It could be you juggling, an air sign and an earth sign, or it could be one of them juggling multiple options. I do feel that if you were in a relationship with someone from the past, you have tried to move on, they've tried to move on, but they're still reaching out to you, and they might be in a relationship with another person. They're reaching out to you, but they're in another relationship. So I definitely feel that element at work here. I feel like you are also involved with somebody significant, that you're exclusively dating. They're going through some financial situation in their lives. They're trying to decide what to do. They need a lot of expertise and advice from you. So you're stepping up and you're giving them somewhat of like practical and also spiritual advice so that they can continue on a new path in their lives. Okay, so you're like in a role where you're taking care of a lot of other people this month. You're also giving them a lot of advice. You're trying to figure things out for yourself, what you need to do financially. So I feel like the relationship aspect, a lot of you might already be in a relationship. And for those of you who are out there and looking, you have some options coming through, air sign and earth sign. But I feel like your financial situation is one of the main focus for right now in terms of what do I want to do with my career, where am I headed and things like that. That's pretty much occupying your mind at this point, okay? So, sorry for the lack of direction, but I feel like a lot of things are happening for you guys for this month. And I feel like you might have been heavily, heavily affected by that Mercury in retrograde period that just ended on the 22nd. So a lot of like re-examinations are coming through, exes coming back in, a lot of new discoveries being made about potential partners, and change in work, change in housing, change in a new direction. So this is the month for you to sort out all of these things in your life. So I feel like it's playing out across not only your professional life, but also your love life. There are a lot of major decisions that need to be made. So I feel like a lot of you are dealing with, some type of like damage control or some type of cleanup that you need to do in your love sector, okay? The only thing I can say for sure here is if you got an ex, that's a fire sign that has tried to interfere with your relationships in the past. Um, that situation, you are turning your back on it, which is great. Okay, I feel like you've got some meddlesome exes. Okay, so do not let in the future. Maybe that's just an important lesson here. I feel like don't let the ex ruin the new relationship, and don't compare. Don't compare the ex to, you know, the new person. Okay, so and so was like this. Every time we date, we're dealing with new energies, new people. And with the Ace of Coins here, it basically means that the universe is giving you something that you might not want, but it's going to be something very good for you that you need to take the time to adequately nurture, okay? So don't be too critical of it. Invest the time in it, and it's going to surprise you, all right? I do wish you the best, Virgos. Take care of yourself. If you'd like a private reading with me, please visit my website where all the information regarding, you know, pricing, scheduling, and all of that, booking appointments, payments, all of that is automated. It's online on my website in the description box below. I also have a donation link. If you found this reading helpful and you'd like to use that link, I would greatly appreciate it. Take care of yourself. I'll be back for the mid-month reading. Bye-bye.